So, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright, so hello, this is On the Ball, or Camel Try as it's known in Japan. This is essentially the 100% category of the game, so it's going to be roughly an hour. We've changed the rules slightly since this was submitted, so it's probably going to be sub-hour, hopefully. Basically, Camel Try, as we're going to refer to it, is Mode 7 the game, Mode 7 being the graphical chip in the graphical mode in the SNES that allows you to rotate backgrounds. It's very similar to Monkey Ball in that you rotate the actual screen around the ball in order to get to the goal. So that's basically what he's doing here. All Worlds is doing every single one of these individual levels. They're called worlds in the game. There's a total of 100, each one being separated into courses ranging from 4 to 10 levels, and then each course being a part of a plane, which is basically a 25% segment of the game. So, some mechanics. You could either use left, right on the D-pad, left and right bumpers, the shoulder buttons, or Y and A to actually rotate the screen. Doing multiple inputs of these, so like either doing left, right, and the D-pad, and Y and A will actually speed it up twice, so you can move the screen further that way. You're going to see that come into play a ton. And there's also actually a jump button, so holding down B will make you jump if you're touching a wall. Actually holding it down will also cause you to accelerate faster, so in a ton of areas in the game you're going to see that happen as well. A lot of this game is a risk versus reward. The physics are a bit wonky in that when you bounce off something, you generally bounce off it really hard if you're going fast, so it's a balance between going fast and trying not to hit things, or taking it slow and not losing much control. This game is essentially reacting to your mistakes. If you're really consistent, you don't hit any walls, but as soon as you make one mistake, it throws everything a bit off its balance, so reaction time definitely comes into play. How come it's called Camel Try, someone in the chat asks. We don't know. There's a lot of weird things with this game, but the camel theme comes into play a little bit. You'll see that in a few levels, but this game definitely doesn't have anything to do with camels.
So that's the first down that one pretty well.
Yeah, so 235 is pretty good for a special, or not special, big training on plane 1.
So it's worth noting we generally do special first, but because that's actually the most reset heavy, or I mean, like, because there's a skip later in special that we'll get to later.
This game doesn't have many skips, and many of the skips are hard and not really worth it in a 100% run, but we will be seeing at least one skip this run. Rexius. This game actually was released on a previous... It was an arcade game before it became an SNES game, so while it does seem like a demo at certain points, this is really a port, if anything. And Catboy Slim, don't worry, there are camels. It might just take a while before you see any of them.
So yeah, so you need to get in that hole because that's the fastest route to get to the end of this level. That took quite a bit of a while. It can be hard to get into like one tile wide holes in this game.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to be very precise because you bounce off things a lot. He's going to take a developer intended shortcut in this path that if you're trying to go fast, it's easy to miss because you don't really notice that small opening there.
Pretty good.
Yep. 15.7 is 2 seconds off the world record for that world. Yeah, Sonic bonus level is actually a pretty good analogy for this. So you're actually going to see now the global timer coming into play. We generally use in-game time to look at or to judge a level, but there's things on a global timer, those stop and go panels. Basically, you could make cycles, and we use cycles to see how fast we're going in a level.
So by global timer, we mean like when you start the world, not when you start the game.
Yeah. And we don't necessarily mean the timer in the top right, because we use it sometimes just because it's right there and it's an easy measure. But there's something we do called pause jumping. Basically, as I said before, when you hold down the jump button, you accelerate much faster. However, if you're in a small space, you don't want to actually press the jump button because you'll ricochet off the walls. If you press pause and then press jump, you'll still accelerate, but you won't bounce like a jump does. So that makes the in-game timer a bit off.
So, like, actually, though, the cycles of the stop-go are based on the in-game timer, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry, don't want to spread misinformation.
Pretty sure. Okay, that was probably a pretty good time. I can't see, like, my total course time because I'm having to reset before that.
Yeah. So, a mechanic that we recently made not a mechanic, but a recent rule change that we had for categories is that you're now allowed to reset after finishing each course. Before you actually had to watch the credits scene for each course. Basically, as long as the courses get grayed out, which happens shortly after you hit the last goal, we're allowing you to reset, which saves some time. And I think I haven't mentioned yet, the reason why we're using the Japanese version is twofold. The main one being that menuing is a lot quicker on the Japanese version, but there actually is one level change. Literally the last level in the run is different and quicker on the Japanese version. There are some other minor differences, such as naming is different for some of the levels, and passwords are different. They're actually easier to enter on the Japanese version, but those are very minor.
So there's a pretty hard cycle to make here. Or, it's kind of hard to make. Okay, well, okay, it seems like really, I made it by a lot, but, the problem is that, one small mistake can cause you to lose so much time.
Yeah. And, there aren't too many runners in this game, but Garbanzo is definitely, even if there were a lot of runners, he would be way at the top. He's very, very skilled in this game. That breaking those two blocks is actually quite challenging.
Also worth noting, the game still isn't even close to, what would be, optimal, I would say.
Yeah.
There's a really high, skill cap on this game.
Yeah, there's a near infinite skill cap, because you could essentially accelerate, just keep accelerating as long as you're holding down A, or not A, B. So it could get really, really, really fast if you wanted to. There's a task of a small portion of this game just that shows that taken to its highest level, and it's pretty insane.
Yeah.
Oh, you made that cycle. That's actually one of the hardest cycles to make.
I don't know if I got the first cycle. I did slow down some there.
Oh.
But
well,
that was still
pretty
pretty
stop
good.
and goes is pretty hard to make.
Yeah. Yeah, so, optimal is 21 or so there, but that's still good.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it's been mentioned yet, so there is technically the challenge is making it through these levels with any in-game time left. Generally, as a speedrunners, in-game time is never really an issue. There are a few places where it's a little bit challenging. You'll see that later in the run, but for the most part, we're never going to have to worry about in-game time. These yellow blocks with X's on them actually decrease your in-game time, and there's some little brown blocks that increase or decrease your in-game time, but it shouldn't be an issue. Expert of first plane, which he's on right now, is actually one of the hardest places to keep in-game time. It's actually harder than the special, which is technically supposed to be harder, because while there's only 8 levels, each one gives you 35 seconds of time afterwards, and you get 40 seconds in special.
So coming up, there will be another one of those developer-intended shortcuts coming up. It's more of a secret path that's
The other one you could kind of make, but this one's definitely harder to spot if you're playing this game, especially because at this point, as a casual player, you probably don't have much time left. Yeah. And taking the developer-intended shortcut causes a 5-second or 3-second time loss right off the bat by hitting that block. So, time loss being in-game time, not real time. But that saves a pretty big amount of time. So coming up, we have Special of Plane 1, which is probably the most optimized course of the game. It features a skip that we're going to see in level 6, so look forward to that. Hopefully. And I think it's pretty easy to see what happens on screen, but I'll just mention too, if you ever see those red things that he's going through that kind of look like they're facing a certain direction, those actually make the gravity go in the direction those are animating towards. So they make it difficult to move opposite, and that's just one of the many ways this game increases difficulty. Generally, you see, as time goes on, they add more of the yellow blocks that cause you to lose time, and more of those gravity wells, as we'll call them. And this level, you're going to see a different mechanic that's definitely not developer intended, but basically if you hug the walls and spam the jump button, you go much, much faster than if you are just holding down the jump button. So we see that in certain parts of the game, usually in small, thin areas with a lot of turns. Alright, that's actually a really good time for that level.
So, Vicious Escape is another example of, like, hugging the walls to gain speed.
Yeah, this entire beginning part, you're hugging the wall.
Whoa, this could be going better. So there's also another skip here, like, generally anytime there's pegs, like, you can generally skip through them, depending on how they're aligned. Like, here you can just skip to the goal, but I'm not doing that.
Yeah, it's not a question of whether or not you could skip through something if you jump fast enough, but usually the setup is very, very hard, so we don't go for many skips unless there's a really good setup, or or it saves a lot of time, which most of the skips don't save too much time. Roughly, like that one in Magician's Escape would have saved maybe 4 seconds. The level coming up has a skip, and the setup is pretty easy if you get it first try. If you don't, it's still possible, but it becomes to be a little bit less worth it. He's definitely going to go for it, though, so hopefully we see it first try.
That's really good in-game time there.
Yeah, 19.7 is actually what we consider an individual world record.
Yes!
Alright, yeah, cool, he got a first try. Basically, he's spamming the jump there and going through the pegs. That saves roughly 20-25 seconds. So, really good job. That's one of the main skips of the game, so I'm really happy he got to show you it all. First try, too. You're gonna notice there's a lot of spelling errors in the names of levels.
It was actually spelled correctly in the English version.
Yeah, that's one of the versions.
Have you explained why we were playing on the Japanese version yet? I think you may.
Yeah, I think I mentioned the menuing is faster and.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, normally, so yeah, sometimes these can be hard to break.
Yeah, generally you have to be going fast enough, which even if you're going really fast, sometimes the game decides, nope, not fast enough. It can be mean sometimes.
So, okay, 25 is still okay though.
Mm-hmm.
So, chat's commenting on how happy I was.
Yeah. Yeah, so those bumpers are really, really costly if you hit them.
Oh.
They send you flying across the map.
Okay, so the next level that we're heading to is a pretty, it's a pretty hard level. Things can go very wrong here.
Yeah, one of the harder levels, casually. it takes the gravity wells to the extreme, basically. So if you end up slowing down a little bit, it could severely cost you because it'll maybe send you back to the start depending where you are. There's one gravity well like loop towards the end, and if you get caught in that, it's really hard to get out of.
So, okay.
And if you
Whoa.
break some of the blocks, it'll actually make it hard as well.
Okay, I usually don't have this show with this part, actually.
Yeah, this is the one I was talking about that it sends you towards the center. But honestly, not too bad.
So that was still, let's see. Okay, that was
The
19
camel
seconds.
did not appear yet, Gigas Blues. We're probably not going to see him until plane 4.
So that was 19 seconds ahead of my PB, actually.
Yeah,
Still.
so this is actually a really good run. We're not complaining about this. The password, so the password screen is actually very difficult to do optimally. We don't know why they chose the way they did, but if you make a mistake entering a letter, it's actually hard to correct it.
Yeah, you have to tilt it left and right.
So we're gonna see the introduction of a few more mechanics here. Mainly, this one right here is restricted gravity. You could only turn the screen roughly 30 degrees each way, and that makes it really hard. Some of the more difficult levels in the game are restricted gravity levels. We'll see that a lot in plane 4.
Oh, okay, so this can go really wrong depending on if you don't get high bounces.
Yeah, generally with restricted gravity levels, if you don't go fast enough, you kind of get stuck. And here we see the last mechanic to be introduced, if I recall. It's reverse gravity, so basically same thing except you're going forward instead of, or up instead of down. These are generally harder than the regular gravity levels in that you have a little bit less reaction time. If you notice, the ball is, there's more, never mind, yeah, there's just less reaction time.
So actually, I consider them easier. It's easier to actually break the blocks in reverse gravity, in my opinion.
I'll agree with that.
And also,
But
you can
I'll
like hug the walls.
disagree on the other part.
You can
Yeah.
you can also hug the walls more easily in that.
Mm-hmm. Listen to Garbanzo, he's the one that's way better at this game. And we'll actually see those two mechanics just introduced, combined at some point. So restricted and reverse gravity.
So there's a skip you can do here, but you can actually potentially soft lock. So I don't go for that.
Yeah, notice how it's using those pegs again. Basically, if there's pegs or if there's any like one tile gaps, like any corners, you can clip through them. Yeah, I will note that soft locking in this game isn't too bad. You could just reset,
Yeah.
and it'll save your progress, and that's the first level. It'll save your progress if you complete the course. So, yeah, it's not too bad, but we don't like losing time to small skips. That's probably the second most time-saving skip, but still, the skips in this game aren't too intense, except for that one you saw in Saw Panic.
Yeah. So. Okay.
Oh yeah, suddenly T-Rex. There's a lot of funny art that have marbles somewhere placed in towards the or at the end of the planes. Yeah, here we have a restricted gravity level.
Yeah. Okay. That.
Yeah, jumping is definitely much more important in these restricted gravity levels than we see in other levels.
Okay. So here is a big example of hugging the walls. There's another skip you can do here, but it's actually pretty hard.
Mhm.
So, and it doesn't even save much time because this is actually a really short course if you do this properly. Like,
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
Yeah, people were saying how it's very difficult to memorize 100 levels, but many of the levels in this game, or worlds as they're called, are very short, if done optimally. So it's not too big of a deal.
And I've played this game for a while also.
Yeah. Garbanzo here's been technically running this game since 2006. if I
Yeah.
recall.
Yeah. For Isles, anyway.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good time.
Let's see, 21.8. Yeah, that's on our. I should probably update this. But yeah, that was considered an individual world record.
Yeah, we have a spreadsheet of like the times we have. Ooh.
So I'm proud of chat. No one has complained about motion sickness yet. Usually when this game is showcased, that's the first thing people mention. Usually I think it's a joke, but
Well, I mean, there could be some people
Yeah.
I mean, if like I understand like it's kind of fast, so I would like understand yeah. But I heard one person talk earlier, but yeah, if you're
I just tuned it out.
But yeah, feel free to like leave if you're not, if this kind of motion sickness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Mohawk is way worse. Yeah, I know Mohawk. So yeah.
Basically, there's a lot of levels in this game that have GP in the title. There's no main theme between them, but there's a lot of weird naming conventions with this game. I mean, the game is called Camel Try, and it's a marble game. That should be your first indicator.
Wait, audio delay? That sometimes happens.
No, I don't think there is.
There, like, that sometimes happens with my capture card. I'm still not sure why that
really?
happens. If that's happening, then it's happening. There's probably nothing y'all can do about it.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm not sure if it's my capture card or if it's something else. It doesn't always do that.
Yeah. Luckily, audio is not too important in this game.
Yeah.
There's no audio cues or anything like that.
Oh. So it's worth noting that you can hug the walls towards the end there, and it sometimes saves time, but if you bounce on the bricks the wrong way, it can end up losing time, so didn't try that time.
Mm-hmm.
So this is another reverse gravity level. Or, no, restricted gravity, I mean.
Mm-hmm. I personally find restricted gravity to be the most difficult mechanic in the game. I'm not sure how you feel about that.
Yeah.
It may just be that the levels that use restricted gravity just tend to be harder in general.
Yeah.
Like, the mechanic itself isn't too bad. If you're wondering if the game audio is in sync, pay attention to when he hits the goals. Because it makes a special goal sound.
Yeah.
That's at least what I think. But I'm pretty sure it's in sync.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. That's, like, actually, if you hit that too early, it can lose a little time if you get there too early because, like...
You'll bonk.
Yeah, that'll lose a little bit of time. So, it's really important to actually control your speed. Like, don't go... Sometimes you don't actually want to go too fast.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes you must go slow to go fast.
Yeah.
As much as that sounds like a lie.
So that bumper section can be a little tricky. Like, if you bounce on a bumper, it can be kind of hard to recover.
Yeah, bouncing on bumpers is one of the hardest things to recover from in this game.
Well.
That was a pretty good 337. 1 second off record.
Okay, cool. So here I'm gonna bounce off the walls. It's generally pretty fast to do it here. Yeah. Ugh, yeah, I think I got there just a bit too early.
Hmm. Some of these cycles in this game are hard to make.
Yeah. So that's, in generally most of the reverse gravity levels, you want to hug the walls all the time because that generally gives the most speed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bumpers can be brutal. I mean, this game in general can be brutal in some levels.
Yeah.
Especially towards the end.
Okay, still made that cycle. Good. That's still pretty. Well, I don't know if that's an. Yeah, it's pretty good.
21.1. Yeah, I mean that's 1.5 seconds off. IWWR.
Yeah. Okay, that cycle. I don't think I usually ever make that.
It all depends on how you break those blocks, which can be really finicky.
Ah, I forgot to
Sometimes
ask.
you go right through them. Sometimes you bounce off them when you hit them.
I just remembered
Sorry,
I remembered I forgot to ask him to put the miss first cycle and the other emote on this channel for this.
Well,
But that's
go to garbanzoguy's channel and
Yeah.
find those FFZ emotes to spam later.
yeah, he can do that.
Because I'm sure there'll be a camel try at some point on his channel.
Yeah, very well. Actually, shameless self-plugging.
Little self-promotion never hurt anyone.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I've ever made that cycle, actually. You have to speed up a little bit to be able to make that, so, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I want to note this is actually a really good run.
Yeah, okay.
So on to plane 3. At this point, we're roughly halfway through the run. I think we're actually a little bit over halfway. The first two planes have... Or the first plane has the most levels. Second plane has the least, but I think it comes out to like 52, 53 levels.
These password entries are actually getting kind of scary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bumpers and the little pegs are the bane of any speedrunner, or any on-the-ball speedrunner.
Yeah.
Third place, depending on it depends on the level.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Mythical added them. Thanks. And so the password entries, like the worst thing is if you enter the last letter wrong, because then you have to re-enter the entire password.
Yep. I think I mentioned it, but the password entry is much easier on the Japanese version, mainly because the Japanese version uses real words like build and smile, etc. The one in English uses random gibberish letters that are actually generally further apart, so I think it's actually quicker on Japanese. It's at least easier.
I'm not sure if they're... I haven't, like, measured that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, DV, Run Killer, it can actually be the password. You have to practice password entry. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
So, a little bit a little interesting thing to note, because there's no more new mechanics, there's no more training course. So now instead of special course being the hardest part, we now have master courses. So if you beat them, you're a master at on the ball. And Rex, there is a task of a single course of this game, training first plane, and it is insane. If I was not commentating, I'd link it.
Someone can find. Just type in like I think on the ball / camel try first training course task or something. Hopefully it'll appear. There it goes.
There's 2 tasks.
Well, one uses like a task only glitch. So it's for
Oh,
the one
yeah.
It's the one by Kaizo Man.
Mm-hmm. So there is a task only glitch. Basically, if you hit the jump input once every 2 frames, you can go through walls.
Yeah.
I thought that's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yes. So is there any reason why you're doing Expert 3 first? Or, wait, no, never mind, sorry. I forgot you did Beginner.
Yeah. We generally go in like order from like hardest to easiest when we're doing like actual runs. But,
So
like,
you do lose a little bit of time to menuing if you don't do the top left one first.
or no, I mean like for like individual plane runs, we generally do like
individual
the hardest
planes.
one first.
Yeah.
Because the timer doesn't start until you hit until you start going, until you hit the enter the first plane. So you can and then after you beat the plane, it automatically lets on an uncompleted plane. So you can just start with the hardest one.
Mm-hmm.
You won't lose time. Well,
Rock climber sometimes you don't make it into that little pocket there that he just went into, and it can get annoying. But luckily, he's very good. I guess it's not luck.
okay, this is actually.
Yeah, that was really good. 0.3 off the world record for that world. This next course, named Nervous, it make me nervous. It's actually very difficult. Haha, fun.
Yeah.
But no, it actually is one of the more difficult stages.
This is
If you mess up this stage, it's really hard to recover.
So
With the
first,
grab.
you have to do this. Yeah, this is like a really difficult alignment to actually break the blocks in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's actually considered an acceptable cycle.
Yeah.
That took a while. Okay, so yeah. So yeah, that's
Breaking
what
these blocks could be awful.
that's what you want to happen. That was really good.
Yeah, that was good.
Like breaking one of those sets of blocks, it can be really, really hard if you fall out of the hole. It can lose so much time.
Mm-hmm. And this level takes these stop-go things to the extreme. You don't know I'm not a camel. You can't see my face, green tomato.
Huh. So sometimes you just need to bounce off the top of the wall. That's sometimes a good strat in these reverse gravity levels.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good time. That may be the best.
16.2. Sorry. Yeah, that is. I'm updating this doc when I remember.
Huh. Nice. Oh. Oh, please.
which plane would you say is the least optimized?
Probably third plane. Like my current world record has like a 10-second mistake at the end. So,
Yeah.
and that's not the only mistake, definitely.
Fourth plane, I would probably say is the hardest casually, but the hardest speedrun in general is third plane.
They're like a lot
mainly because, yeah, there's a lot of places that slow you down in this one.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, this course can be bad. Well,
I think I mentioned it before, but bumpers and pegs, the bane of any speedrunner of this game.
People are going to start spamming that Miss Far Cycle emote now. Okay, but this is still a good run so far. Let me see. Okay.
Yeah, we got good pace here, folks.
Yeah. Currently 40 seconds ahead of PB for Ankh Worlds.
And when he says PB, he means world record. So this is actually the easiest stage to lose to in-game time. As its name suggests, it's a long stage, and doing the developer-intended shortcut requires sacrificing a lot of your time, which you don't actually have much of. It's the first level. In order to beat it. So he's actually doing very, very well, but if you ever get under 10 seconds, it goes into this little lottery sequence to get more time, and it actually wastes a ton of time, so we try to avoid that. That was really good, long.
Yeah. That's where you can get a lucky chance if you're not careful. Because you have to, well, I think Spicy explained it.
Yeah, I just call it a lottery system, but it's actually called Lucky Chance, basically, and it's unlucky for speedrunners.
It can give you more time, but you have to deal with the animation. And it always appears if you have below 10 seconds. Or greater than or equal to 10, or less than or equal to 10 seconds, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, these master levels are no joke. In the master course, in this one and the next level, or next plane.
Okay, world record's 55:30. Someone asked that in chat. Okay, that's a decent super jump.
Yep.
So it can be kind of hard because the bounces you get seem kind of almost inconsistent at times. If you get like bad bounces, you have to do. It takes a little longer, and it can be hard to even get up.
Yeah, super jump is actually one of the most contested individual world records between me, Garbanzo, and Millennium, actually.
What is Millennium's record on that? I didn't see it.
It's like 10.7 or something. I think mine's 9.8. Yours is 9.6.
Okay. You hear that? We even have people in the RPG speedrunning community doing ILs.
Yeah.
Okay, well... Okay, actually that's a good strat. Oh, please.
Yeah, these cycles can be really hard to make.
Yeah. Okay. That's still a pretty good time. I don't know if I've updated all the individual world records though for third plane. I had some run. I didn't update it for what I did yesterday. My practice. So... Huh, now I'm not going to make the basic cycle. Okay, yeah, I did. Yeah, that cycle, like, you can go one cycle faster, but it's really hard to do. I think I've done it before, but it's really hard to do.
Yeah, a lot of these cycles are just make one mistake and it's over.
Yeah.
Navi could be pretty hard.
Okay, this level can be annoying. I'll see if like it ends up being shown off. So first there's a hole you have to get in here. That can be annoying. Okay,
yeah,
good.
You got it though. A lot of these restricted gravity levels, you basically have to get into some sort of like pocket of space, and like if you mess up, it's hard to recover.
And it's also hard to get to the goal there. I made it look easy, but if the bounces don't work properly, you sometimes have to bounce off the other walls.
Yep. So now we're going to plane 4, which is the second most optimized plane after plane 1. It also is quite challenging. We're going to see... Well, I'll explain it as we go, but there are certain levels to look out for.
Oh, okay. Oh, please. Just be relaxed.
Oh, we got the quick descent there.
Yeah.
It's really easy to hit those saws coming out.
Yeah. Okay.
So this has a shortcut. It's definitely not developer intended. Basically, there's a gravity well that's supposed to bring you back to the beginning of the level if you mess up, but he went through it the opposite way and actually got to the goal much quicker. If you mess up that trick, it's actually pretty punishing as well.
Yeah.
That's a common theme in this game. Mess up a trick, get punished severely. And again, breaking blocks can be finicky, but those were quick.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar to digging in Super Mario Bros. 2, the US version. You have to do it in a specific like pattern. Silver Strike among the most fun levels in this game, like legitimately.
Yeah. That's not a good bounce.
Yeah.
That's
So
a little
in tight spots, it's hard to get good bounces. So, Gigas Blues, basically, each one of these individual things with a goal is called a world in this game. Each course is roughly 4 to 10 worlds, and then each plane is 4 courses. So all these special master, beginner, expert, that's part of a plane. This level, significant, it's called Adventure. You're going to see a few other levels, namely Adventure 2 and 3, have the same themes. Mainly that they have restricted gravity, and they're among the hardest levels casually and hardest levels as a speedrunner. Adventure 3, I would say, is harder than the actual final level of the game.
In this version, yeah.
In this version, yeah. We did mention that one of the version differences is that the last level is changed from Japanese to English. I think the developers thought, hey, for being the last level, it's not actually that hard. We have to step it up, and they really, really stepped it up.
So that was kind of scary in Wood, but
yeah.
But it went well still. Like
basically, if you don't make that cycle on the last, or if you don't make the cycle on the last part of Wood, you can get caught in a little bit of a loop, and it's hard to recover from. This level is actually very hard casually because you basically are blindly falling onto these blocks, which can cause you to lose in-game time. We have a method that makes us not lose too much in-game time.
Well, I don't really care about in-game time for this.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
And also, you can bounce toward the end here, like bounce off these. But if you don't bounce off these in the correct way, you'll end up losing time by doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, that's one key thing about this game. Like, it's like it has very fickle like positioning. Like, if it's positioned even remotely the wrong way, it won't work. That goes for a lot of things in this game, just in general.
Yep.
Okay, so you have to like break blocks in small corridors here. Ah. Okay, good. I made the cycle.
Yeah. Is it possible to make that entire thing one cycle? The ending part there?
Probably. Like, I've never done it, but like, given the way physics work, I would guess it's possible.
Okay.
I hesitate to call anything in this game like impossible generally because, like, with the way the physics work, you're given so much control.
Yep. So here is a level with the name Camel Try. It features the guys from Bubble Bobble in the background because the game was also made by Taito. There's an M. So while this level is named Camel Try, the camel level, or you could actually see the camels in the background there, right? Are those camels under the Bubble Bobble guys? I think so. There's one level shaped like a camel, but that was way in the beginning. That was in the camel in Plane 1.
Did not miss first cycle. I guess I could make that another FSC note, I guess. Just put the go.
Yeah. Also, that was a really, really good reflect. Like, really, really good. This level right here actually has a non-intended skip, which you're going to see him go for. Basically, you're supposed to go under that, but we're able to bounce off those blocks. That level could be done really, really, really quickly. Like, we're talking 4 seconds.
Yeah.
Usually it doesn't go that well, but 9.8 is still good.
So I guess this is kind of a developer unintended thing. Like, I'm imagining you're probably supposed to go around the gravity well, but it's really easy to not have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is way too good of a run to go for the skip here.
Yeah.
So, okay, first here, it saves quite a bit of time to bounce off these walls here.
Yeah, basically, those very, very thin walls you could skip through if you're lucky, but he's not going to go for it because you lose a bit of time. Not in this section, but another section with thin walls up ahead.
Okay. So I believe there's a cycle in this level that I usually don't make, but I believe it's possible. Okay, never mind. It's either lazy or I've never done it.
Just witnessed history. First time making that cycle.
Okay, that's a hard cycle to make there.
Mm.
Please get me there. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm currently 44.4 ahead.
Yeah, he's on a really good run. So you might have witnessed a new world record here today. Hopefully. I shouldn't be hyping it up that much. So now we're on the last course of the last plane. This is the final stretch. And you could actually make it in between those blocks fast, but you have to be at a very, very precise angle. So
Yeah! Okay. Yeah, if you do this incorrectly, you can get caught by that. That loses a decent amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
First time skip, long time speedrunner.
So Corner Soul Cat, I don't think you're a pachinko ball, I think you're more of a marble, but there actually are cheats to basically turn your ball into other characters as well. Like you could be ones from a few title games. You could also be a little spaceman dude. Cool stuff. But unfortunately, like if you're not used to those characters, it actually is a bit harder to run.
Yo, that was a really good level.
Yep, I agree.
This is probably the hardest level for me personally. One of the hardest.
Yep. I mentioned before the Adventure series, so Adventure 1, 2, and 3 are all hard levels in their own right. Not even just casually, but for speedrunners. Yeah, that party just did right there. If you don't get enough speed, which is pretty finicky to get speed, it can be really hard.
Ah, okay. So, 31 is a good time, really good time. Like that's 2 seconds off of like my best, but still really good.
Yeah. That's one of the like highest variability times you would see on a level.
Like one run, which I would consider really good, got a 47 on that level. So yeah. So Adventure, well, I won't talk about Adventure 3 yet.
Yeah.
So these 2 levels are just not too bad.
Yep, this is the last of the GP levels.
Yeah.
Monaco GP.
Okay.
If you're a casual player, this level's terrifying because of these walls, but
It's really
we do
good.
this level quick. Yeah, that was insanely good.
Okay, here's probably my second least favorite level. And it's not too bad at the beginning, but...
Yep, we call this the troll level because the end can troll you really bad. Hopefully we don't get trolled. Or Garbanzo doesn't get trolled.
Okay, well that's... Yeah, that's pretty much the best it can go. Like, usually I go like through the gravity well to get to the goal, but I saw that wouldn't work, so I did it that way.
Alright. I do want to mention that your Monaco GP at 10.1 was 1.7 seconds better than the previous best ever.
Nice.
So
Well,
that
I don't think
was
it's
insanely
1.7, but still. I think I've probably done better than that before. Like, better than 1.7.
Okay.
Oh, 15.5. Still.
So this level right here, Adventure 3, is again what I would mention as the hardest casually. It's not an easy speedrun as well. Or hardest casually on the Japanese version. There's a lot of stuff that could trip you up, especially as it gets harder as we go on.
Yeah.
Making this jump here is actually not that easy.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're positioned the wrong way, you just won't make the jump. And you can skip like having to go through that tunnel there, but it's in the middle, but it's really hard to actually do.
Yeah.
35.8, I've done quite a bit better than that, but that's in a run that is perfectly acceptable.
Yeah. That last ending part with the gravity well is insane casually.
This is sub 55 pace.
Yep, this is really good. So this level right here, Manji, is the only level that's significantly different in the 2 releases, American and Japanese. The last battle, the American one, is quite a bit longer. It's actually the longest level in the game. This level is actually still pretty hard. It is the last level after all. You can get caught in those hooks.
Yeah. Yeah, they can be really bad. Okay.
Then there's a huge block breaking segment at the end.
Okay, so I lost the ones in there, but not too much. Okay, I'm gonna miss this cycle too. So times after I hit this.
Yep, we're talking about a shattered world record here.
Okay, 54.45.
Yep.
PB by 40. Okay, PB by 44.4.
Saw it here first. The god of camel try.
That run. Yeah, so I guess so here you get to like actually see like just random cool images.
Yep.
So wait, I wanna. That may have been a 4th playing world record. Like, okay, I think it was. Or okay, it was like a 4th playing record by like 0.2.
Good stuff.
Whew. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if you want me to let the credits play out or what, but
10 minutes under estimate.
yeah. I can show. So I can show something off, but I think we should. I guess we should move on to the next run. 6:51. Yeah, we should move on to the next run. We're still behind schedule. So. So,
All right, everyone, make sure to follow garbanzoguy. That's all I'm saying.
I have no problem with self-promotion.
Wow, what a run by Garbanzo there with a 2-second increase on his world record. Give it up in chat for that. Amazing.
It was actually 45 seconds.
45 seconds. Okay. Even better. Even better.
Yeah, but yeah.
Congratulations, Garbanzo.
Thanks for having me. So yeah, we can move on to the next run then. So yeah.
Now we will be getting ready to shift over to Cruel and his run of Lufia 2 and